Hello, Vanguardians. This is Anthony and
Daniel
from Epic CFV 365 once again, coming at you with a
which deck profile.
Don't forget, like, subscribe buttons down below. Be sure to leave a comment with what you think of the Shadow Paladin Witches deck profile. Check us out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for all of our Vanguard videos. We're at Game Time here in Clemens, which is our locals, so come check us out. And on to the deck profile.
Alright. Our starter is Witch of Banquet's Leer. When she boosts a Vanguard that's in Legion, if it hits, you push her into the soul, you call 2 grade 0s out at rested. Usually you'd go for your stand trigger since they're damage unflippers, which is counterblast heavy deck, so you need as much unflipping as possible. So, starting off with your triggers, you're in your 4 heal triggers, staple. You're in your 4 stand triggers. I don't like stands, but she's kind of necessary for the deck. Like I said, it's a very counterblast heavy deck, so you need as much damage unflipping. So her skill is when she's called to the rear guard, if your opponent has 2 or more grade 0 rear guards, you get the soul charge one, unflip a damage. So she's really necessary. And then you're in 8 crits for that one, and for Goon, she is really good. When your Vanguard's in Legion and your opponent has 2 or more grade 0 rear guards, you get to shuffle her back into the deck, and your opponent's Vanguard loses 5k. So it helps use all the cards in their hand up, so push for game real easy. Grade 1s, run 2 of this chick. Don't know how to pronounce her name.
Arian Rod.
Something like that. She's the rest drop draws, so she sets up your Legion and deck thins. You really don't want her more at 2, so it's fine. Run 4 Danas. She is very good. When she's called, you Soul Blast one, target one of your opponent's rear guards. They replace it from a grade 0 from their drop zone. So it replaces their rear guards, which comes in handy when you're one of your grade 3 legions. Helps push for game, so pretty good. I'll run 3 of the familiar. Let's see, I don't even know what this guy does. When it's called, you can, if your opponent has 2 or more rear guards with 0, you can choose a witch card from your hand, discard it, and draw 2 cards. So pretty good. Helps deck then. And then you got your 4 damage unflipping perfect guards. You have to be careful with her, so if you have to ride her, some of your witch effects will not go off. So you have to soul blast her as soon as possible. And you kind of have to run her because damage unflipping. So necessary. Grade 2s. You run 4 Famaze. She is my favorite. She's Fiona's Legion mate, and she's a 12k hitter, and she's SP, so why not? For Deirdre, she's your other Legion mate. For your other Legion, she does the same thing as Dana does. When it's called, Soul Blast one, replace one of your opponent's rear guards with a grade 0 from the drop zone. So it helps out getting all the zeros out. And to round up your 2s, for Audra's, she is basically the Cursed Lancer of the deck. Your opponent has 2 or more grade 0s, and if she hits, Soul Charge 1, Counter Charge 1, and she gains 2k. So helps with your damage unflipping. Your grade 3, the best grade 3 of the deck, for Fiona. This makes the deck. When she's in Legion, you can counterblast 2. You target 2 of your opponent's rear guards. They check the top 10 cards of their deck, replace them with the grade 0s. And you can what? 3 of the 4 are SP, so you know why not. Her other skill is if your opponent has 2 or more grade 0s, you can retire a copy of your Vanguard, which can be her or the Legion mate, and draw 2 cards. You only use that once per turn, so deck thinning.
It's only good if it's an SP.
Yeah, I mean,
Shadow Paladin, right?
Come on now. It's got to be an SP to be good. And then for your other Legion, Ria's, She's usually your game ender. When she legions, you retire one of your rear guards, and your opponent's vanguard loses 5k for every grade 0 they have on their side of the field when she legions. You have to be careful with this, because if you legion and then start calling zeros out after she legions, the vanguard will not lose 5k afterwards. So make sure you get as many grade 0s on their field before you legion with her. That way she gets the maximum power loss from your opponent. Then her other skill is a worse version of Fianna. You counterblast 2, target one of your opponent's rear guards. They check top 5, replace it with a 0. So she's really just, that skill is just there if your opponent has 1 or 2 rear guards that need to be 0s, and you've got the counterblast for it. So she's really your game ender and your stride fodder. That's pretty much it. Onto your stride deck, run 1 Blizzle. Unlike most decks, you stride this first. I'll show you why. You run 3 of this guy. When you stride Blizzle, you flip one of this guy. See, I like this ratio at 3 because if you have to G-assist, you can get rid of 2 of these guys, and your stride deck will be completely alive and will not harm you whatsoever. Because you just flip this guy for Blizzle, and then you'll still have room strides left for your 4 Diablos, which is your other game ender. So you got 2 game enders in this deck. If they want to keep the rear guards out on the field, you just turn them all to 0s and win with Rias. If they want to try to play smart and not use rear guards, you just win with Diablo. In theory, it's very, very good, and it is good when it works, but the deck is kind of slow until we get the new Witch Stride, which is extremely good. And when the new Witch Stride comes out, I will be taking 2 Diablos and 2 of these out. The new Witch Stride, when you stride her, they check the top 10 cards of their deck, they ride a grade 0, and it gains a skill you have to counterblast to guard. So if they're going to guard with anything higher than a 0, they'll have to counterblast. If they don't have counterblast, then they're kind of screwed. So very good when new Witch Stride comes out.
So other than the new Witch Stride, is there anything you want to replace in the deck?
It really depends on what gets announced coming up. There might be another grade 2 that I can replace the Audra for. But other than that, not really.
Alrighty. Thank you for watching. This has been a Shadow Paladin Witches deck profile. Don't forget, like, subscribe buttons are down below. Leave a comment with what you think of it. Check us out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for all of our Vanguard videos. Be sure to check out the link down below for Big N Collectibles. And this has been Anthony and
Daniel
from Epic CFV 365 saying, if you're going to card fight, make it epic.